Missouri's taking on Mississippi State. The theme for this game is, which Missouri and Mississippi State teams do we see on Saturday? The over-under is 57.5, and Missouri's favored by 8.
Yeah, I think this will be the best performance from the Missouri offense we see this year, from a passing standpoint especially. Something that hasn't clicked at its entire level if you're looking at the offensive weapons that they have in the passing game, and that comes down to Mississippi State having one of the worst passing defenses in the league. People are throwing on them 72% completion rate. This would be the game for Missouri to make it click. And that's what I think the story of this game is going to be. The team that we see out of Mississippi State, I think we know who they are. I think they have you mentioned the word and I liked it. They have a gritty offense that keeps them in games, and the score doesn't necessarily represent who they are. But I think if we get both of those teams, then that's a recipe for Missouri.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like Missouri a lot of times in these offensive shootouts. We've seen them play these types of games against Vanderbilt. We kind of saw it last week against South Carolina. Just the South Carolina offense is newly and improved, and the defense is pretty solid too. But Missouri, a lot of their games this year against Auburn, against Oklahoma, they've been able to kind of do just enough offensively to take it over the top. And the reason is guys like Brady Cook, it's guys like Theo Weiss. We always talk about it. We see the comments. People love Theo Weiss, they love Luther Burden, and both of those guys got super involved last game despite the loss. The question is does Mississippi State have an answer for that type of dual, receiving threat? And we haven't seen it this season. So it's almost like we'd be betting against what we've already seen if we were saying Mississippi State has an answer for those two guys.
No, and they don't necessarily even have an answer should they decide to keep the ball on the ground. Like the Mississippi State rushing defense hasn't been good either. Over 220 yards per game on the ground given up to opponents. So they're not necessarily performing on either side. So for Missouri, it's a pick your poison type of thing. If you want to keep the ball on the ground, you could do that. Keep your guys healthy and see where the season goes for you. So no, I don't think that they have an answer defensively. I think that their answer would come offensively in the style of a shootout. Like South Carolina last week, they were with such a good defense, they were giving up some points to Missouri, but they were able to outperform offensively. Mississippi State has done well in scoring in games. It just hasn't been enough to keep them in it. So I think it would have to be a shootout style win for Mississippi State.
Yeah, I agree there with you. This Missouri defense, like you said, has shown some gaps. Michael Van Buren over at Mississippi State's looked, decent for a freshman, but he's shown some improvement. They're looking okay. Johnny Daniels will have to get involved in the rushing game for Mississippi State to have a shot to win this game, or at least keep it close. The spread, of course, we talked about it. It's 8 for Missouri. So do you think that they cover? What's kind of your final prediction here for Missouri, Mississippi State?
I think that they cover. I think that you have some seniority at quarterback. He's been a little banged up here and out on the season. And should he sit in the pocket, dice this up with the QB IQ that I think that he would have in a game like this, where it's going to be a little bit softer coverage. I like Missouri covering. I like them 35-20 is what I got here. It just sits right on the under, but I do like the under on the game. I think that they could settle into some field goals here and there, settle into the run game a little bit.
Yeah, I like it. I definitely like it. I'm going to go 38-20. So I'm pretty close to what you have. Yeah. I'll give him an extra field goal there. I think that, Brady Cook, he's heating up. Maybe we see Drew Pine come in if they don't really need Cook at a certain point in the game. I just have to go with what we've seen from this Missouri football team playing decently quality football, and Mississippi State, still kind of searching for some key SEC wins.